speaking of logo, so I'm sure many of you are familiar that a logo is a very important component for many companies. It represents the brand recognition of any companies here. So when you say the swoosh sign, that's Nike, obviously. Then the Apple logo is synonymous with the Apple brand and so forth, and many other companies. So obviously, changing or updating a logo is critical. How you present it. Now, one of the companies here, Amazon in particular, chose to change their logo, but to their surprise, there was a backlash in terms of uh, how they proceeded on how it looked like, and it looked somewhat different. So they saw it that it looked somewhat familiar, not in a good sense, but anyway. So the Amazon launched its main shopping app logo early this year, or way back in January. So they had to replace their previous shopping logo, the trolley icon, which resembled one of the company's parcels with a piece of torn tape at the top. Now, strangely enough, people noticed that it looks somewhat peculiar in a sense, and it looks somewhat familiar. A very popular, uh, iconic person decades before. So let me show you what I mean. So where is it? There you go. So here's the logo. See if you can identify what am I talking about here. So here's the logo. On the left is the one that they introduced early on, and they changed it on the one on the right. So obviously the Amazon logo looks like a smile, right? So it looked like the mouth. And then you look closer at the top, you can see here that this looks like a mustache, or mustache, what they call it. And it looks familiar from a very popular individual who has a notorious mustache, which is, they say it looks like Adolf Hitler, which is obviously no one wants to remember, though I won't say good old days, but of the atrocities that happened during those period, right? The dictator himself. So obviously people complained and provided their feedback, and whether it looks like a mustache like Hitler or not, who are we to judge? But at the end of the day, what did Amazon do despite dealing with the backlash? They change it, simple as that. So make it more I wouldn't say palatable, but more neutral in a sense, and it looks nice. I mean, I'm okay with either logos, but if it's better this way, then so be it. So what they did here, so it's supposed to be a Scotch tape, as I mentioned, right? This mustache that they seem to recognize. So it's not just a ripped Scotch tape as they say, according to the customer. It's a ripped Scotch tape that has a similar shape and is right on top of a smiling mouth, which looks like a happy little cardboard named Adolf Hitler. So whether that's true or not, obviously people's perception may differ, and if it looks like it, people will always assume that it is what it is. So obviously, rather than face the consequences, it's easier to just change the logo if it's possible. But the question here is, didn't those people in Amazon go through a vetting process to check, does this look okay, does this look familiar, will this offend people, or will this send the wrong message to to the customers that it has a mustache that look like a Nazi dictator in the past. Anyway, so Amazon, as mentioned, changed the logo, replacing the ripped effect with a folded one with fewer extremist overtones here. So I'm sure they went through a lot of trial and errors when they initially proposed the first one, and then when it's approved, then it did it didn't went as they planned with their consumers, and they have to change it all over again here. Anyway, so obviously, if you're Amazon here, according to the spokesperson, they mentioned, obviously Amazon is trying to always explore new ways to delight their customers. Now, is this delight? Obviously not. So their goal here is to design new icon to spark anticipation, excitement, and joy, which is, I think, that's complete opposite what they conveyed in their earlier version here. And when consumers start perceiving that your logo is look like a dictator from the past, maybe they need to rethink how they go about formulating their own logos here. So otherwise, people want to shop in their marketplace anymore here. And I think this is a common problem with, obviously with many companies trying to update their logos. Very careful not to create controversy as to, not necessarily make it bland in a sense, but make it bland in a sense that it would not create any tension, right? Just like the logo for Apple. Simple enough. If you see the Apple, it's the Apple brand. Then if you see a check mark, the swoosh logo, it's already a Nike. Simple as that. Should they try to improve upon it? I think keeping it simple is always the best way, right? Simple is always better. And if it's recognized already worldwide, why even try to change it?